This video is brought to you by my patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for your generous support in funding this channel and keeping it up and running. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gavony Township, the show where it's not about me and my decks, it is about you and your decks, whether you're a content creator that I'm collaborating with, whether you're someone who has won one of my Facebook or Twitter giveaways, or whether you're a patron of mine at patreon.com/magicalhacker. For today's episode, we've got a deck submitted to me from my patron, Casey Spark. He submitted his Siona Captain of the Pyleas deck. And so this is one of those new commanders from Theros Beyond Death, so that's going to be a little bit more important for us to read the commander, talk about what the deck is based around, and go into all that. So let's go and start off with the commander here. Siona, Captain of the Pyleas, is a 3-mana legendary 2/2 human soldier that says when Siona, Captain of the Pyleas, enters the battlefield, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may reveal an aura card from among them, put it into your hand, and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Whenever an aura you control becomes attached to a creature you control, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Now, this works really well with one of these auras in the deck, and that is this one right here, Shielded by Faith. So 3 mana. It's a enchantment aura that says whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you may attach Shielded by Faith to that creature. So Siona will make a token. Then Shielded by Faith can move over to that token, which will then trigger Siona again. So we get to get another token, start the whole process over again. So we're getting infinite tokens, and then obviously this is a May ability, so we don't have to move over the aura at the very end. But we make infinite creatures, and then from there you can do a lot of stuff. Now this deck is different though. This is going to be more along the lines of an Enchantress build. But it is important for us to keep in mind that we do have that infinite combo available to us if we would like to use it. So what we're going to go ahead and do here is talk about what this deck will probably going to be wanting to use. We're going to want to have a lot of auras in here. In fact, we want to have at least maybe 14 or so auras. Most likely more, but we want to have at least 14. After that, we want to have things that care about enchantments. We want to have things that care about auras. And that should be pretty helpful to us. So let's go ahead and start looking at this deck, and from there I'll be making my recommendations. Now 35 lands, that's pretty good. I think that's exactly where we'd like to be. Let's go ahead and put all these cards into one big pile. That way we can kind of keep track and do. Maybe I'll do 2 piles here, so it's a little bit easier to see how everything's going. Move over to a different pile here. There we go. Not bad. We can kind of take a look at this one by one. So there's a lot of cards in here that I'm sure are going to be great. But we will definitely take a look at these one at a time. So obviously the Shielded by Faith is good because it's part of the infinite combo, so that's going to be pretty helpful for us. Boonweaver Giant, this is a way that we can get auras from our library onto the battlefield, so that's pretty cool too. There is a combo with Boonweaver Giant, but it is definitely in the realm of CEDH, so I'm not going to go into that area for this video. If you want to, that's something that you can do for your own, if you'd like to, you can. We might actually see this as we go throughout the deck. I like doing this deck tech kind of, not spur of the moment, but I like doing it where you're seeing my raw reactions. I'm not preparing to say something specifically or to say something else. I'm just going through it and I'm giving you my thoughts. So we've got here Grand Abolisher. I like this as a way that we can allow ourselves to put a bunch of auras onto a creature and attack with that before our opponents get a chance to respond. So I feel like that's going to be pretty important to this deck. We've also got here the Daybreak Coronet. That's just a great aura. Same thing with the Spirit Mantle. I like this as a tutor. I'm going to put this into the stack of tutors here. This one's great because this is a way that we can draw cards. So that's one of the first things I think of when I think of, if you want to have an aura-based deck, this core Spirit Dancer is pretty good for that. We got some more really good auras. This one counts as spot removal. It is an aura for sure, but spot removal is pretty nice. This one's another really good aura. We got some tutors here as well. More good auras. There's a lot of auras, kind of like this Flickering Ward, where we can return it to our hand and then play it again. That can be used to trigger all of our enchantresses over and over. So I do want to see if there's anything else that's good like Flickering Ward for that purpose. If not, then that's fine as well. This one's just going to be good generally with auras. Has a little bit of synergy there. Some more spot removal. We've got some mana ramp. Got a good bit of mana ramp here. Now, I'm leaving this into its own category. I'm going to put this in just utility creatures kind of zone. This one's going to be haste. I don't know how important the haste is, so we'll kind of put that off to the side. That might become our remove pile. We'll have to see. Exploration is kind of like ramp, so I'm going to put that into that category. Rancor is another great aura that we've got. We've got another ramp effect here. Same thing with the Wild Growth. Both of these cards are pretty underplayed, but also very, very good. You know, Sterling Grove, this is a way that we can give our enchantments a little bit of protection from removal. So I'm going to say this. Let's put this as the removal protection zone. This one is both a way that we can ramp out our commander if we need to, but more often than not, it's going to be recursion. So I'm going to make a category for recursion here, and let's move this over. We already have enough lands for sure, so we can move that over, no problem. So we'll go ahead and put this over here, and I'll move over just one because I don't need to move that much over. All right, so this one is great because with all these auras, Season of Growth will also trigger and allow us to draw a bunch of cards. So that one's going to be good there. More recursion, which is good. Definitely if someone wants to get rid of the infinite combo, we need to have a way to get it back. Kenrith's Transformation, another way that we can have a little bit of spot removal in this deck. This is more protection for our things. This is Ramp. Not my favorite type of ramp, but you know, obviously those are things that people like to play. So if you want to play it, you play it. That's your prerogative. We've got some more card draw. We're just kind of putting things here into different stacks based on what they do. All right, so we've got our first board wipe here, which is going to be nice. We've got this one is another Enchantress based effect, but this is making things bigger. We don't really have a category for that just yet. I'm going to make that one. Although I guess technically this is also counting as the synergy aspect, so let's put it there. Another board wipe, which is great. Some more recursion, very nice. This one is a way to make all of our creatures bigger. I kind of like this one if we're making tokens anyways. This has, I guess we can put this category as token synergy or, aura synergy. Both of those are pretty nice. This is definitely token synergy there. This one's going to be the recursion that we were looking for. Yeah, so this deck's looking pretty good for the most part. I feel like this list looks very, very good. More synergy type effects. So I don't even know if I'll even have to do a deck doctor for this. There's not much in here that I'd actually want to change. This looks very, very sweet. Very solid for sure. We've got here another board wipe, which I like. This is another great aura. We've got here another Enchantress effect, which is always good. Put that into the right category. This is spot removal, which is fantastic. Let me see here. Where was that spot removal section? There it is. We've got here another great aura. Plenty of really good auras in this deck, and tutors as well. Like, this is looking really solid. I'm really liking the way this looks so far. I had a tutor. There it is. I had a tutor section. I was having trouble finding it. Ideally tutor. That's another tutor here. More protection. And this one's also another great tutor. This is another Enchantress. Yeah, so this is looking really solid. More spot removal. I'm feeling really happy seeing this type of deck being built here. And you know what? I've never done this before. I'm not going to say anything just yet. Let's just keep going and see how this all plays out here. We've got another great aura for right here. Some more spot removal. And this is another Enchantress effect. We've got another great aura. This one is definitely going to be synergy with all of our tokens that we're making. So that one fits there. And then lastly, the Enchantress effect. So out of everything that we're seeing in this whole list, the only thing I might be inclined to get rid of is this Concordant Crossroads. But kind of taking a look at it now, it makes sense. If we've got that combined with our Shielded by Faith, suddenly all those enchantment or all those tokens we make can attack right away. So yeah, I'm trying to do a deck doctor here, but this deck looks really, in my opinion, it looks as good as it can be. So I've never done this before, but you've heard it here first. If you submit a deck for a deck doctor and there's nothing that I would change personally, we'll do a gameplay. So we're going to go ahead and do a gameplay with his deck. So I'll see you in a second. And here we are in the game. So taking a look at this opening hand, we've got a couple of lands. I kind of like this. Some of these are, this one enters tapped, but I think this is keepable. We've got a little bit of spot removal, a couple of, one board wipe and an aura. I think this is keepable. We're going to go ahead and keep this one. So yeah, I think turn one, since we don't have a 1-drop we actually want to play, we'll just probably start off with that Temple of Plenty, I think. So that way we can get that down and be pretty good from there. Yeah, we're playing Siona, Captain of the Pyleas. We mentioned this already, but we're going to go ahead and read off this card. So, Siona, Captain of the Pyleas, a legendary human soldier. That says, when Siona, Captain of Pyleas, enters the battlefield, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may reveal an aura card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Whenever an aura you control becomes attached to a creature you control, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token, and she's a 2/2. So we can do a lot of really cool things with Siona, where we're playing down auras, we're making tokens. Those tokens, we can use those to put our other auras on it, so we don't have to, go all in. We also can use our enchantress effects to really, to do a lot of really cool stuff. So we're gonna play down the Temple of Plenty and pass over to our opponents. So we'll pass it over. Do we want to have the Mana Confluence? I think we've got enough lands. We'll draw into more lands as the game goes on, but we'll go ahead and put that to the bottom. That's usually how it works. It's like you scry. It's like, do you want to land or do you not want to land? If you want to land and there's not a land on top, you put that to the bottom. And obviously the same is true otherwise. I rarely use it for other purposes than that. I guess I could see a situation where I really need an untapped land, so I put a tapped land down to the bottom. But I'd have to be in a very desperate situation to be doing that. So yeah, we're doing pretty good. Playing Siona, green-white auras. Let's go talk about our other opponents here. First opponent here is ZenMind93, playing Samut Voice of Dissent. 5 mana for a legendary 3/4 human warrior with flash, double strike, vigilance, and haste. Other creatures you control have haste, and they can pay a white and untap another target creature. So what do I think of when I think of Samut? Most of the time, it's just like a creature good stuff based deck. I'm surprised a lot more people aren't doing things regarding having creatures that come into play with haste. Trying to play a deck where you're wanting to have a lot of creatures with haste. I'm surprised a lot of people aren't doing that. I'm surprised a lot of people aren't doing like tap abilities, so you can use your commander to untap creatures, untap things in order to get value that way. I don't know. It's just very surprising to me in general. All right, so we draw into a Birds of Paradise. From here, we can play down the Bountiful Promenade, and we can play down our Birds of Paradise. It's kind of a weird top deck. We would have loved to get that down on turn 1, but it's better than nothing. I think from here, what we'll go for is we will play out the Enchantress's Presence. And, we don't really have a way. I guess we probably need to get down our commander first, right? Yeah, I think that's what we'll have to do. Or, we can get down our commander first, go for the Enchantress's Presence, and for, maybe the Canopy cover or something afterwards. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and yield until our upkeep because we have nothing we want to do here. Yeah, we have 1 mana open, but we're not using it for anything. Alright, so things are looking pretty good. Yeah, with Samut, I would be hopeful that this is going to be like a tap-based deck, just because I think it's really cool. I personally think it's also more powerful, so if they're not going for that, then we can kind of take a sigh of relief, I guess. So yeah, ZenMind playing Samut, most likely going to be like a creature-based deck. Maybe even like a Voltron-based deck I've seen some Samut decks do, so we'll see what's happening here, because there's definitely a lot of ways that Samut can be built. Alright, our second opponent here is Raphael France. We've seen Raphael quite a number of times, but I don't think we've ever seen them playing Bruna the Fading Light. So Bruna the Fading Light is a legendary 5/7 Angel Horror for 7 mana that says when you cast this spell, you may return target angel or human card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's also got Flying and Vigilance. They can meld it to make Bruna Voice of Nightmares. They need to have Gisela, but they can meld it eventually. And Bruna Voice of Nightmares is a flying first strike, vigilance, lifelink 9/10 that says your opponents can't cast spells with converted mana cost 3 or less. They're going to go and start off by playing down the Charming Prince. They went for the gain 3 life, I believe. No, they went for something else here. It looks like they went for one of the other abilities. They went for the Scry too. Let me see how they Scry, just out of curiosity. Let's see how they Scryed. They decided to. I guess they did something else here. I didn't even see what they. They did Scry too, but does it say what they went for? Let's see. They put 2 cards on the bottom of their library. Okay, it's kind of hard to see it in this way. There we go. Put 2 cards on the bottom. All right, so they did the Scry and they got rid of 2 cards they don't want. What is going on over here? This is our third opponent, Don DeMello, and they're playing Anje Falkenrath as their commander. This is a 3-mana legendary 1/3 vampire with haste that they can tap and discard a card to draw a card. Whenever you discard a card, if it has madness, untap Anje Falkenrath. Now, this is a very common combo-based commander where you're going for the World Gorger Dragon combo. If that's what they're going for, we are going to hold up our Krosan Grip to try to take care of that problem. I think besides that, we will most likely just wait to start doing stuff until we really have a good time to go for it. Let's get down the command tower here. We're going to hold up the Krosan Grip. Yeah, so let's see if they decide to go for that combo where they get the World Gorger Dragon. Basically, you discard Madness cards and untap Anje Falkenrath until you draw into a way where you can find both the World Gorger Dragon and either like a Dance of the Dead or Animate Dead in your hand. So the idea there is you then tap Anje Falkenrath, discard the World Gorger Dragon, then you pay the 2 mana for one of those auras, and you can get the infinite mana combo using the commander. And on top of that, you've also got the fact that you're flickering your whole battlefield, so you can keep using the ability from Anje Falkenrath and keep drawing into more cards, and until you can draw into like a fireball or something along those lines, where you can then use something like that to win. So there's definitely a lot of ways that they can win from there, but ultimately we're going to try to get rid of the Animate Dead before they have a chance to do anything else. So that should hopefully allow us to not see anything too crazy happening. Alright, so we're going to see here the Angelic Field Marshal. This might be Angel Tribal for the Bruna deck. I mean, being able to get angels out of the graveyard, that does seem like something that a lot of people would enjoy doing in a mono-white deck. Yeah, and they've also got the Seraph Sanctuary here, so that kind of tells me this is most likely going to be like an Angel Tribal deck. Personally, I'd go for like Lyra Dawnbringer as the commander. Giving that extra point of power and toughness and lifelink to your angels definitely feels like it's something that can allow you to survive while you're going for those attacks and you keep hitting people. Alright, so they're going to go for the Anje Falkenrath here, drawing a card and discarding a land. So it looks like they're not ready to go for the combo just yet. Alright, so we're going to each draw a card and lose 1 life going down to 38. That's why we had those 2 cards from last turn. I was like, I don't think I remember drawing a land there, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and draw into another land, and let's see what else they've got for their turn. Yeah, like I said, I'd like to go for the Krosan Grip on their combo piece. They might be a little bit scared to go for it. Okay, Rankle, Master of Pranks. That's not too bad. It's making me hungry for some Pringles, but besides that, I think Rankle's fine. And yeah, I think this is good. So we kind of know that this deck is most likely going to be like a Madness-based deck. I mean, they are playing Rankle. That's not something you usually see. I don't know what's going on here. I think if they were trying to go for everybody discarding their whole hand, they'd be doing something a little bit different where they'd be using like Neheb the Worthy or something. This is definitely different than what I'm considering here. All right, so don't want to block this Menace. We don't, obviously, because we only have 1 creature, so not going to be blocking that. Yeah, this is a little strange. We were holding up that Krosan Grip because we were anticipating them going for that combo very quickly, but it looks like that might not be what's happening, actually. Alright, so they are going to block here Rankle. They don't want to see that triggered ability going off. What did they have? They're just tapping for mana, so they don't lose the mana while they have that chance. We'll take the 2, go down to 36. Yeah, what's going to happen from here? That's a big question. Like I said, I'd prefer to have the answer of the Krosan Grip ready to go at all times. I don't know if we'll actually be able to do much with that, though. Like, we do want to keep putting stuff out on the board. And, yeah, I guess... Let me think about this. So we don't have any 2-drops we actually want to play right now. So, I guess, though, technically we could play the Canopy cover on the Birds of Paradise. Let's just do this. Let's play down the land. Play it on the land. We will not pay the 2 life. We'll say no. And then from here, we've got a couple of lands here. I don't know if we want to keep all these lands. We're probably going to get rid of the forest because we've got enough mana. I don't think we need to keep that because we do have 8 cards in hand. I think we still need to hold out that Krosan Grip. Next turn, what we can do is we can play out the Enchantress's Presence or our commander or whatnot, and we can, you know, still hold up the Krosan Grip. So that's one benefit there. But I think for right now, we do want to keep holding up that Krosan Grip because if we do try to play anything out, we might put ourselves in a position where we just lose to the Anje Falkenrath. And right now, we're not really seeing a lot of pressure for us to commit to the board. You know, if we do, great. You know, great. If we don't, then that's fine as well. So Samut coming down, that's fine. This is going to be being able to attack is pretty cool. But let's see if they decide to go for that attack here. We got to discard a card. We're going to discard that forest. And then we'll just keep yielding. Again, we want to wait until the perfect time to use that Krosan Grip. Like I mentioned, it's most likely going to be on the Aura. And we want to do it as soon as possible because we don't want to let them get an infinite mana. And we don't want to let them do a lot of other craziness. And in fact, I think if we do have an answer for the Aura in response to the World Gorger Dragon ability, we can then actually make it so that they lose all their other permanents and they don't get them back. So that actually might work out great for us. We're going to see here the Rights of Itlimoc, Growing Rights of Itlimoc coming down. So this is going to let them get a creature. We'll see what they reveal off of this. So they're going to go ahead and have a revealed zone. Let's see. They found Miri Weatherlight Duelist. Okay, interesting choice. Not something that I'm super worried about, to be honest. But yeah, so far it does look like this is very much a creature-based deck. And seeing Selvala, this makes me wonder if we're going to be seeing any of those combos that this deck could be doing. So there are a couple of combos that would allow them to generate infinite mana. So let's see what they go for here. They're going to go ahead and attack over at Don DeMello with their Samut. So I'm pretty sure they're not going to block here, but at least now they can deal 6 damage to them. So they might be seeing this Anje Falkenrath as also pretty threatening because of the infinite combo capability. It's certainly a lot more resilient than our combo, where we need to have haste and we need to do all sorts of stuff in order to win, really. So let's see what happens from here. So passing over to Raphael France, let's see what they decide to go for. Everything's working out pretty well so far for us. Nothing too crazy is happening. We're also seeing our opponents not really afraid of us too much at this point. All right, so Lyra Dollenberger is coming down. This one is, again, the card I thought would be a better commander for an Angel Tribal deck. But you know what? If they want to go for this, you know, be my guest. I think they'll also get to draw a card because that's the biggest creature on the battlefield right now. So they get to draw a card off of the Lyra entering the battlefield. And now they can attack with some lifelink, which is usually pretty good. Usually pretty good. And this will, you know, get everything a little bit bigger, or at least it'll get itself bigger. It'll give other things vigilance once they get their commander out there. So they still need to get a little bit more mana before they can cast their commander. And they probably also want to do it in a way where they can get something out of the graveyard as well. But they'll go ahead and attack over at Zen Mind for some damage, gaining some life. And they're going up to 45 as a result. Alright, so it looks like they're still going to just draw and discard. Still not going for any Madness cards being discarded. They discarded an Inferno Titan. So the way this looks, it looks to me like this isn't based on the combo, from what I can tell. It looks like it's just a different style of Anje Falkenrath deck. I don't want to put down my defenses all the way down yet. I still want to keep trying to figure out what it is exactly before I assume and really just hurt myself for assuming the wrong thing. Rakdos Signet coming down. This is going to allow them to have 4 mana here. Let's see what they decide to go for. They still have plenty of attackers out there. We technically could go for our Wrath and wipe away most of the board. But I think what's going to be more helpful for us is the fact that if we can get down our commander, we can start casting auras, we can start making tokens, and tokens are great to block with. So I don't mind doing some chump blocks along the way. Alright, Exhume. Everybody gets to put a creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield. So here, we don't have any responses in response to this. And it looks like they're probably the only ones that have something in their graveyard. They only have just the Inferno Titan in their graveyard here. They've also got Villas, Broker of Blood. So either way, those are both pretty bad. They're going to go and get the Villas back. So now when they lose life, they're going to start drawing cards as well. So what are we looking to do here? This does look like it's a red-black Reanimator deck, so that definitely fits into the World Gorger style deck that they could be building. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure that we should be going defenses all the way down. I think we still need to do what we have to do here. They're going to go ahead and draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. That loss of 2 life will allow them to draw 2 additional cards on top of that. So they'll get to draw a bunch of cards here. And this might mean that they have that mana that they need, or rather the cards that they need in hand to be able to go for the combo next turn. So we definitely want to hold up the Krosan Grip after this turn. Up to this point, wasn't super necessary, and that was not something that we could have known. It was just something that we kind of found out in hindsight. But now it is definitely a big deal. They're going to go and attack us for 3 in the air with the Rankle Master of Pranks. If they make us discard a card, lose a life, draw a card, make us sacrifice a creature, all that seems pretty fine for us. Otherwise, blocking with the Birds of Paradise will guarantee we'll lose that creature. So I don't mind here not blocking. They may not make us sacrifice a creature here, so no blockers from us. We will see if they have anything else they'd like to do here. If not, I do like the idea of going for the Krosan Grip. And, having that Birds of Paradise out there means that we can keep out enough creatures for us to or rather, we have enough mana that we can cast this and another 3-drop. Let's see what they're going to do. They're going to make each player discard a card and sacrifice a creature. So we lose our creature anyways, but ultimately this is totally fine for us as well. Alright, so yeah, nobody's going to be drawing those cards, and that's fine for us. We've been drawing so many cards as it is, we really don't need to draw anymore, as, you know, unless we want to get down our Enchantress and just start churning through our deck. Unfortunately, we do lose our creature here. Losing a card doesn't really matter all that much, but losing the Birds of Paradise is kind of the bigger issue. So we'll see what happens from our opponents. This might kind of put everybody into the position where they're ready to start dealing with creatures and dealing with things all over again. Now, one thing that's pretty interesting, they can generate infinite mana even without any of these creatures on the battlefield. So they don't need any of them. We will sacrifice our Birds of Paradise, but they don't need any of these creatures in order to do their infinite combos. So for us on our next turn, we're most likely just going to play out one of our lands, and then from there, you know, hold up the Croson Grip. If we draw into a 2-drop, you know, I'm fine with that. I'd be pretty happy about drawing into something like that. But even then, I'm okay with not drawing into anything along those lines. They're gonna sacrifice their Stormfist Crusader and then discard a couple of mountains. All right, so let's go ahead and go to our turn here. Again, we're gonna play it on a land. If we can cast a 2-drop, I'd be happy with that. If not, then that's fine too. We'll just play it on a land and hold up our Croson Grip. And we won't have to discard either, so that's also pretty nice. Let's go ahead and draw into Beast Within. This one's pretty good. It works just as well as Croson Grip for responding to things. So I kind of like holding that up as well. We can also use that to respond to, you know, if we want to respond to the Pyleas or something, that's also another option. So here we're just going to, again, go back to just passing the turn and allowing people to do whatever they're wanting to do. So we're holding up that, you know, answer. We've got to. We really don't have any other option here. Otherwise, they could literally just get their enemy dead and win the game, even with us having an answer in hand that we can't play. So we really do need to hold it this way. Next turn, we can go for the Rogue's Passage, and that way we can also commit to the board while they're, you know, while we're holding up an answer. So the Aven Mindset are coming down. That's pretty good for us. We don't really have any ways to search right now in the hand, so it's not going to be hurting us too much. But the nice thing is it also hurts opponents, so we can make sure that we're A-okay on that front. Now, unfortunately, we don't see anything on the battlefield that's going to be turned off by the Aven Mind Sensor, but shutting off ramp is also pretty cool, so I am A-okay with that for sure. This deck is not playing a lot of the land searching ramp. We're playing a lot more of the enchantment based because we want to have some of our enchantresses trigger off of our ramp. So that's kind of the benefit there. Let's see what else Zen Mind has up their sleeve. They've got a lot of mana. They've got up to, what is that, 6 mana plus an about to flip. Right, to unlock, they need to have a total of 4 creatures, and they've got that right now. This will flip at the end step. So interesting that they went for the creature at the end step here, the Aven Mind Sensor. Usually I use that like when I can get some value out of it. So let's see what they've got up there, what they've got you know, on their schedule, on their agenda. They're gonna go for Zakama here. They have plenty of mana to play that down. So with Zakama, we can respond to that ability. We'll see if we need to. This will have haste, so they can attack with it right away. But the benefit here is that them creating a little bit of extra mana might not matter too much. They will get to draw a card, I believe, because that is bigger than the Pyleas, so they'll get to draw a card off of that. Playing down a land, let's see what they decide to go for after this. So they've got their commander, they've got Zakama out there. They've got a lot that they can do. They are probably still pretty afraid of Don DeMello. Let's see, they're going to attack both of these creatures over there, so that will allow them to draw more cards, making it more likely that they can go for their combo. But thankfully, we've got our answer ready to go. So they're going to go ahead and untap the Selvala, immediately tapping it down. They can use this to produce enough red mana where they can get rid of the Pyleas before they can draw cards off of dealing damage to them. So that's actually pretty good for them. And pretty good for us, so we don't have to worry so much about the Pyleas anymore. But the fact that they are playing a pretty heavy Reanimator style deck means that we might see this hurting us pretty soon, where they can just get back creatures like Pyleas very easily. They're going to start dealing damage to that. They got to activate it 3 times. They've got mana for it 1 more time here in the mana pool. They can, yep, they're going to go ahead and deal that damage. That takes Pyleas off of the battlefield, and now that means that we are pretty set up where we can use either our Beast Within or our Croson Grip on, if they decide to go for that combo. They are up to 7 cards in the hand, so they might have even found that combo right then. We have not yet seen a single Madness card from them, so they might not be going for that type of deck. Again, if they were just going for the non-World Gorger Dragon combo style deck, they probably would have played the new Chainer deck, the new Chainer Commander. This is a red-black commander where you give haste to the things that you reanimate. So that's pretty good. That's usually pretty good. But they're not playing that one, so we'll see if they're just going for like a different commander on that same style of deck, or if they are playing the Madness deck, Madness cards, they just haven't discarded any of them yet. All right, Elspeth Conquers Death hitting the battlefield. We have no cards that can get exiled by this, and regardless of what this decides to hit, we're pretty happy. They get rid of the Anje Falkenrath. They're going to get rid of the Zakama. That's fine. We have no issues with that. In fact, Zakama being gone is actually pretty good for us. Let's see if they decide to use this time to gain some life and destroy some artifacts and enchantments, maybe even some creatures while they have that opportunity. Looks like they're going to destroy the Sega. They're going to start off with that. Interesting choice. I don't know how much the other cards here really matter, the other effects here matter, but that's fine. They're going to destroy that. Looks like they're not responding to anything else, right? Looks like they might not be responding to anything else. So they're going to go ahead and Zakama here is going to tap for some more mana, so they can use that and deal 3 damage to Lyra Dawnbringer. Okay, so this is something they probably wanted to get rid of because they wanted to attack them, and this has reach, so they don't want to see Zakama blocking some of their big flying creatures. So that's probably why they went for it right away. But now Zakama can use all the damage, get rid of the Lyra Dawnbringer. They can't gain life from their creatures anymore, so that's pretty bad for them, but at the same time, maybe not that big of a deal. Alright, so now their Lyra Dawnbringer is off the battlefield. Zakama will get exiled by Elspeth Conquers Death. And now, let's see what Raphael France decides to do. They've got that 3/3 still on the battlefield. They're going to go ahead and scry one with a new Benalia. I don't know how much it matters if they're going to scry to the top or to the bottom. I was kind of curious before, but yeah, I'm not that curious anymore. Alright, so we'll go ahead and close this out because it doesn't matter too much. And I'll kind of leave it like halfway open because I'm kind of curious as creatures get put back in there what they can reanimate out of the graveyard. I know it's been a little bit weird that we haven't really done much, but I think this is a necessary evil. We've got to make sure that we don't die to the World Gorger combo, and it's very easy to do that. They are very low in life total here. They could be dying either to commander damage or to just straight up damage, so we'll see if they get to that point. They're already halfway there with Samut, so they really just need to hit them 2 more times, and that will take them out. They've also probably got ways to make this a little bit bigger, so they can give an additional point of power, or 2 points of power would actually make it lethal next turn. So that's pretty easy to do. In fact, we can even use some of our auras to make that easier to kill them. But I probably don't want to use it that way. Probably they're going to go ahead and go for the draw card here. Let's see if they start going for the Madness effect, or if they're putting something in their graveyard so that they can reanimate. They're just going to go ahead and discard a land. They're probably digging for an answer to this board state. Black and red have certainly a ton of board wipes, so they might be what they're looking for. They might be looking for a board wipe here. If they decide to go for that, we might not have to worry so much about the combo anymore. I don't know, it still seems a little bit risky to not be able to answer it if we need to, so we'll see. We'll see if we have to go for that. They're going to go for the Rankle, attacking Raphael France here, so this could make each player discard a card and sacrifice a creature. Probably not going to be allowing everybody to draw an additional card. If we're forced to discard a card here, that's a good question. What do I want to discard? I don't want to discard anything. Yeah, the land is super important. Same thing with the Croson Grip and the Beast Within. I think having 2 answers is better than having only 1 answer. Enchantress's Presence and the auras are important. Also the board wipes. Okay, so we're going to discard a card first, and then we'll lose 1 life and draw a card. This is a bit risky, but I think we'll discard the land because we could easily draw a land here off of that card draw or off of the card draw from our next turn. If not, we'll still just keep having the cards in the hand that we don't need. Other than that, I guess Canopy... Hold on here a second. Canopy Cover, Flying or Reach, so we can give Hexproof. That's pretty important, I think, to our commander. Yeah, you know what? I think we're gonna discard one of these other cards. I hate to do it, but I think we're gonna discard the Rogue's Passage. Yeah, let's go for it. Discarding the Rogue's Passage. We'll say okay. I mean, we've got 2 card draw. I have a feeling we'll draw into a land. We've already drawn to quite a number of lands as it is, so most likely going to be drawn into lands at some point here in the game. If not, we can just increase the chances that we draw into a 2-drop that we can play down and hold up our 3-drop thing. All right, so we drew into our combo piece. So let me think about this. We can make infinite creatures on our next turn. And with infinite creatures, we kind of put our opponents in a position where they've got to win the game. This is pretty easy for them. If they do have the Madness style deck, they can win very easily through this. So here's the question. Do we risk it, or do we try to do this a different way? This is a little bit of a tough one. I'm not exactly sure. We do need to draw into another land in order to go for that, though. Dance of the Dead. What are they going to target? They're Dancing of the Dead, so they do have some of the cards that work with the World Gorger Dragon. They're going to bring back Villa's Broker of Blood. So that's fine for the most part. I feel okay with this. Yeah, so this is going to enter the battlefield. They can start getting rid of creatures with that ability from Villas, right? Because if we destroy this here in response, oh my gosh, that is so that is small text. Let me think about this. So put enchanted creature onto the battlefield tab. Hold on, let me see this. So if it's on the battlefield, okay. So if we get it off the battlefield, this triggered ability will no longer do anything. I think let's go for it. So we get that off the battlefield. They can't get rid of creatures. That makes them more likely to lose the game. And, I'm fine with that. We kind of set up for a win later on. Right now, the Croson Grip doesn't matter all that much. Yeah, let's go for that one. We'll hit this card. And the reason I'm going for it now is because the Beast Within, I think, is going to be more versatile later on. So, yeah, let's go and go for this now. We're going to make sure that they can't respond by, doing something else instead. We're going to, get that Dance of the Dead to not work, not do its thing. Villas is not hitting the battlefield, so this might mean that our opponents can kind of take care of this opponent for us. We've got the Beast Within still in hand, so if we need to, we can use it. Let's see what else they've got here. They don't have a tapped creature. They're going to go for a Toxic Deluge. That's fine. They will lose a lot of life in order to board wipe here, and I'm okay with the board wipe also, so this is great. This is great for us no matter what. Board wipe here takes care of their commander as well. In a way, I'm almost at the point where I'm feeling okay about just running out multiple things at the same time. I think what I'd probably want to do is get down the Enchantress's Presence and maybe hold up the Beast Within. Again, they could very easily play out their commander and have a 2-drop in their hand that they could play out. We draw into Shield of the Oversoul. We've got 7 cards. We don't need to cast anything right now. I think if we can see our opponents kind of take care of Don DeMello, then we can start playing a little bit more aggressively. But for right now, I'm fine being in this position where I don't seem to be that threatening, and I can do a lot of stuff here sitting from this back seat. Things are looking pretty good. We haven't done too much in this game, but I think that's for our advantage. Now, Don DeMello hasn't had the combo just yet, but that doesn't mean that they don't have it in hand or they don't have it in deck. They certainly could have those very, very quickly. And then, obviously, here, Zen Mind could cast their commander, and it's got haste, so they can attack Don DeMello right away. Let's see if that's what they go for. Let's see if they decide to go for that right now. They are tapping some amount of mana here. It looks like it's more mana than... Oh, they're going to go for a Vorinclex. So, with a Vorinclex, I think here we need to respond with the Beast Within. We can't allow that to hit the battlefield. And I'd hate to see someone combo out as a result, but we really can't allow that to stick around for too long. So we're going to go ahead and respond to that. We're going to tap for some mana. And then from there, Vorinclex is going to hit the battlefield. From that point, we'll use the Beast Within. Let's see if they've got anything else they want to do here. If not, then we'll just go for the Beast Within. Yeah, let's go for the Beast Within here. Targeting the Vorinclex, get that off the battlefield. We do not want to see that here. Unfortunately, that does mean that the black-red opponent can reanimate it from the graveyard, but that's an if, and that's, if they have it, then they have it. I definitely don't want to see it on the battlefield, and so if they take advantage of the fact that we got rid of it by getting it themselves, we really can't do anything about that. Either way you slice it, someone's going to have it. At least this way we can just play around the idea that maybe they don't have a way to reanimate it out of the graveyard. So now that we're out of answers here, we really can't do anything about the Dance of the Dead anymore. Thankfully, though, our opponents might be getting out cards out of their, out of their hand, creatures that they can use to attack again. Sun Titan coming down instead of the commander, which I think is pretty interesting. They're going to use Sun Titan. They're going to get back. What are they going to get back out of the graveyard here? I'd be interested to see. Jalum Tomb. I don't usually see this card. What is this? Draw and discard? Interesting. That's what they're going to get back, too. So, yeah. They're going to go ahead and start being able to loot in mono white. Yeah, I don't know why they're going for that one specifically compared to something else. Codex Shredder, this one makes a little bit more sense if you're trying to mill yourself. Either way, though, I feel like there's probably other options. I don't know if I'd play Codex Shredder in a Bruna deck, but I could definitely see myself not finding too many options and having to resort to playing something along those lines. All right, so let's see what happens here from Don DeMello. At this point, since we've got no answers, it's just a matter of if they've got it. If they've got it, they got it. You know, we can't really do anything about it here at this point, so we'll just have to let them do it if they've got it. For our next turn, all right, they're going to get down the Anje Falkenrath. They've got enough mana to get one of those cards out of the graveyard. They could use Dance of the Dead, Animate Dead, and Necromancy. I believe Necromancy works the same way. If it doesn't, then it doesn't work, but I think it works the same way. I'm not entirely sure. All right, so Anje Falkenrath coming down onto the battlefield. This one, so let me see here. They can use that right away. They can go for that madness here, you know, trying to dig to the World Gorger Dragon or dig to the aura that allows them to reanimate. From here, we're going to just draw our card for turn, and let's see what we draw into. I wouldn't mind going for the Enchantress's Presence. You know, Mesa Enchantress is not bad. We get that down. We can then start putting, auras onto it. I kind of like that idea. We get that down. Yeah, not bad at all. We definitely don't want to use this card unless we're ready to combo out. We don't have enough mana to go for multiple things here. So instead, why don't we do this? Let's go for Mesa Enchantress. We'll pay 1 white and white. And then from there, we'll go for the Canopy cover because we're trying to dig to a land. So being able to give that additional aura onto Mesa Enchantress, not great, but certainly not bad. So we'll go ahead and use this card. Casting it, we're going to choose this creature to enchant. We're going to go ahead and cast it for green and a green. So yeah, now we can get that down, and not great to make it an attacker or blocker, but we give it hexproof, making it a little bit less likely to get targeted. And also we get to draw a card off of that, which is not bad either. Alright, so we draw into another answer, which is good. We do want to draw into a land eventually, though, and hopefully that will be happening sooner rather than later. Otherwise, we'll probably just cast our commander next turn, and maybe we'll play out the Shield of the Oversoul or something. That gives it flying and indestructible, so that's not too bad. We get to draw cards off of that as well. I don't mind going for the Enchantress's Presence. This allows us to draw a card off of the Mesa Enchantress as well. So if we happen to find a land then, after that we can go for the Shield of the Oversoul on our Mesa Enchantress and draw 2 cards off of that, which is pretty cool. Alright, so Steve is going to hit the battlefield for Zen Mind. That allows them to get 2 mana off of their Rites of Itlimoc, so now they're kind of going up in mana as well. Right now they've got 7 mana. Do they decide to cast out their commander? They went to combat first, so it looks like they're not interested in that. What do they go for here? They're going to attack us for 3. We cannot block with our creature and survive, so we will just have that around and not do anything with it. So we'll just go down to 28. Not the best, but we got to do what we got to do. That's the way I see it. We can go for the board wipe if we'd like to, but at the same time, we really don't see a reason to go for it right now. Everybody's creatures are pretty scary on their own. Obviously, they're going to be sacrificing their token here. Or maybe they just sacrifice the Steve and keep their token around. I don't even know. They're going to make themselves mill 1 card here. They milled a Plains from the top of their deck into their library. Let's see what else they've got in their graveyard here. They've got the Angelic Field Marshal that died, so that's the last card that was put there. So now they can go for their commander. Instead, they're going to go for the Altar of Dementia. This allows them to mill cards by sacrificing their own creatures. So I don't know if they're trying to go for the combo. Maybe they're I don't think there's a combo with Bruna, right? I don't think so. Maybe they're really just trying to meld. More than anything else, they're just trying to meld Bruna. They don't care about anything else. They just want to meld. They're going to go get down a 3/3. That's going to give them up to 41 life. So thankfully, we're not super low. We're at the second highest life total. Certainly not as low as 9. But right now, we might see this 6/6 going over at Don DeMello. We will see if that's where they're actually planning on sending it. Looks like no, they're going to send it our way. So I think at this point we do need to start putting out some blockers in order to start surviving from this point. So I think what we'll do is we can play out the Shielded by Faith onto our Mesa Enchantress. That gives it indestructible, so that way we can we can give it indestructible, so that way we can block creatures as they decide to attack us, and not have to worry about this creature dying. It also means that our Enchantress is immune both to spot removal and to board wipes, which is pretty good to be. Pretty good place to be, I think. Not very big in terms of Enchantresses and in terms of creatures in general, but we're not really using it for attacking just yet. Maybe we'll find something that turns it into a big attacker, and we'll be able to use it that way. But for right now, we'll just be using this a little bit differently. Now, we can also play out this Snake Umbra instead. So that gives it the ability where we can, if we deal damage with it, we draw a card. But I think the Vigilance here that we don't have means that we really don't have a good reason to not use we don't have a really good reason to attack as opposed to blocking with Indestructible. Now this card right here is pretty good, but it only gets Indestructible if the attached creature is green, and Mesa Enchantress not green, so not going to be good to attach it there. If we draw into a land, I think what I'll go for is Enchantress's Presence into Shielded by Faith, so that way we can start refilling our hand a little bit as well and have a good blocker where we can block things pretty easily as well. Now the downside here, Sarah Avenger is in the air, so they can use that and start hitting us even more. It's a little bit of a downside, but I think we'll just have to keep doing what we have to do here. We've drawn a lot of cards, and we haven't drawn into that land that I was hoping to draw into against the odds. So thankfully, we will hopefully not be as big of a threat now with the Balthor, the Defiled, hitting the battlefield here. They can use this to get back all their creatures from their graveyard. And it's only black and red creatures, so obviously we're not going to get anything from it. Zakama will get, they'll get their Zakama back. The mono white deck won't get anything from it, but the Balthor will allow them to have a pretty big board state here. So let's see if people are pretty afraid of the fact that this is now kind of shutting them down. Also, there's a Kiki Jiki out there, so with that, they can get double ramp if they decide to send the Inferno Titan over at that creature. Yeah, they're going to send 2 damage over to Kiki Jiki, 1 damage to the Sakura Tribe Elder. They're also going to create a bunch of treasure tokens here. So I think from this point, they can go for, creating a copy of the Sakura Tribe Elder and then getting 2 mana that way. So surprisingly, the mill here is being used right now. I'm surprised they go for it right now instead of later on. But that's fine. Either way is okay with us. I think next turn we will again just play down the Enchantress's Presence, and if we draw into a land off of our draw that way, then we'll start to do some stuff. If not, then we'll just figure out something else instead. Yeah, them getting 2 lands here, but losing off most of their creatures, I'm fine with that. I'm totally okay with that. The fact that they've got this big board state, though, this is definitely an issue for us. They've got more mana they can use as well, so let's see what happens from here. Looks like they're going to tap the Rites of Itlimoc for 4 mana while they still have the 4 creatures. I would have not thought about that, but I guess depending on what they have in the hand, they might need that mana for, something. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what they're using that mana for. They're going to go ahead and lose their Kiki Jiki as well to the Inferno Titan entering the battlefield. Yeah, so far we haven't seen a single Madness card in this whole deck. So I don't think this is like the ultra consistent version of that. They're going to flash in their commander, which is super easy for them to do. Looks like Raphael France is going to respond by activating their Jalum Tome in order to draw and discard a card. So interesting. Like I said, this is a very interesting card. I like seeing those cards like that where you're doing weird stuff, using cards people have never seen before. Those are some of my favorite decks. And this deck kind of falls into that category a little bit. Yeah. Let me see here. Magical, what does your deck do? Yeah, let's see what's going on here. What does my deck do? It does auras. That's all it does. It does auras. And I'm saying it that way because auras are pretty bad, and people don't usually like them that much. So that makes me seem a little bit less threatening, which is exactly where I'd like to be. I don't want to be a big threat here during this game. They're going to go ahead and attack 3 damage over at Zen Mine. I guess hitting us doesn't really matter that much. Let's see if they've got something else they want to do. They can't block this. Can they deal damage to it? No, they can't. That means that we might be losing our Mesa Enchantress here if they make everybody sacrifice a creature. So that is a little bit of a downside. We technically can go for the board wipe afterwards, but again, we don't want to be doing this like this because I feel like if we have to draw into a land, that does change things up. We can go for our commander and then into the Shield of the Oversoul. Even though, yes, we are going shields down, not having the Generous Gift, waiting for them to go for the World Gorger combo. But them doing that, so we're going to discard a card here. What do we want to discard? Well, we can get auras back, so that's pretty easy for us to do. I'm going to get rid of the Snake Umbra here, I think. Yeah, let's get rid of the Snake Umbra. We will be forced to sacrifice our creature, unfortunately. We didn't really have a way to deal with that, but thankfully next turn we can go for the Divine Reckoning, get rid of most of the creatures all on the battlefield, and that way we just get around, Rankle doing stuff and all this other nonsense. Alright, so let's see what else we see here from our opponents. Unfortunately, this is a sorcery speed effect, so we're not going to see a whole lot of opponents being able to take Don DeMello out of the game. So maybe we wait. Maybe we wait to see if people start attacking Don DeMello to try to kill them first. Although at the same time, we're only really getting rid of one creature. This Sakura Tribal is going to be gone anyways. So you know what? I feel a lot better about. Let's just go for the board wipe here and then call it a day. Unfortunately, we only got to draw one card off the Mesa Enchantress. They've got Underworld Breach. They've got enough mana here where they can start escaping cards from the graveyard. Let's see if they've got anything in the graveyard that they want to get back. I guess maybe the Dockside Extortionist might be a card they're interested in getting back. They've also got the ability from the Anje Falkenrath to discard something if they'd like. So they can cast that out of the graveyard, escape it out. They can also escape out the Dance of the Dead. Let's see what they have. They also have Exhume. Exhume's not bad. If they decide to go for that, then we've got plenty of creatures in our graveyard that we'd like to get back. Mesa Enchantress is a great example of that. They're going to go for the Dockside Extortionist. Not as many artifacts and enchantments on the battlefield anymore. They're only going to get 3 treasures. But hey, 3 is certainly better than nothing. They're definitely going up in 1 mana by escaping this out of their graveyard. So they've got 5 mana now. With 5 mana, what do they want to go for? They can go for the Toxic Deluge again if they'd like. That's fine with me because that means that they lose more life. They're going to go for the Dreadbore targeting the Samut. Okay. So this one's not quite so bad because they can just cast it again on their turn and it's got haste so they can attack with it right away. That seems pretty good. Honestly, that does seem pretty good. Let's see what else they've got in their graveyard that they can get back out. They got Dance of the Dead. They've only got 1 mana though right now, so no 1-drops in this graveyard, right? They're gonna go for the Dreadboard, targeting the Sun Titan. So from here, our board wipe literally does nothing except for hurting Don DeMello, which at this point they're probably gonna be interested in. People are probably interested in killing them anyways because they've got such a scary board state here where they really gotta start doing stuff. For us, being down to 22, I don't mind going for trying to develop more of a defensive position. Now, Don DeMello, let me see here. If we don't board wipe, people are going to have a hard time. People are going to have a hard time doing anything to stop them, right? I mean, they've got a flyer here, but they've also got a flyer that they can block with. I think we've got to go for the board wipe, both to be defensive and to help Don DeMello kind of help give slick down that track towards destruction. We're trying to make sure that they fall down that road. All right, so let's see what happens here. Underworld Breach is going to get sacrificed. They still have 1 treasure. They're down to 1 card in hand. So this is looking pretty good. I mean, they can get rid of that 1 card and try to find something else. How about a board wipe magical? All right, yeah, sure, that's fine with me. I'm a-okay with that. So yeah, let's go and see. We draw into the Sigarda's Aid, which is pretty cool. We'll go ahead and get that down since we don't have anything else we actually want to do for 1 mana. Let's start off with this and see if anybody has what's it called? If anybody has a Mana Tithe, then we can pay for it. We can definitely pay for that Mana Tithe. So we've got the Divine Reckoning. We get rid of all creatures except for 1. So they get to keep one of their creatures. I'm not sure what they'd want to keep. If they want to keep their commander, that's something that they can do. Maybe they'll keep their Villa's Broker of Blood. That's another option. They're going to keep, actually, the Balefire Dragon. So that's another flying blocker. Yeah, so this is pretty good for us. We'll go and get down the Sigarda's Aid and then pass over to our next opponent, which is Zen Mind. So from here, what do we want to do? What is the game plan from here? We can pay... We can hopefully find a land. I know it was kind of risky discarding that land, but I think it's pretty reasonable to say that we're most likely going to draw in the land at some point. And the fact that we haven't has been really unlikely, and yet it happened. So we're just going to keep trying to survive into this game in a way that we can get back in it. That's going to be the game plan here. All right, so Zen Mind, what do? We will see. Now, thankfully, we don't need to cast our auras at sorcery speed anymore. We can now flash them in, which is pretty nice. Meaning we can hold up the Generous Gift if we need to, and if we don't, then we just play down one of our auras and do stuff from there. It also allows us to win with the Shielded by Faith at the end step of the player before us, so we can create the infinite tokens during this turn and then during our turn attack. So that could help us win pretty easily as well. So let's see what Raphael France has up their sleeve. If they have an answer to this creature that allows them to get in with their 3/3, putting them down to 6, they're going to go and go for their commander. Let's see what they get out of their graveyard. They can get back any human or angel. Let's see what they decide to target here. I always like seeing this commander. It's not something that you see very often. And you know what? This might actually be the first time I've ever seen Bruna the Fading Light in the command zone of someone else that I'm playing against. At least the first time on the channel. I'm pretty sure that's easier to find out. But I think this is the first time I've ever seen this this deck at all. So we'll see how good this is. We'll see how helpful this is for them. So what do they want to get back? I don't even know. They can get back a lot of stuff here. They could get back the Charming Prince, but that doesn't do a whole lot. They can get back the Lyra Dawnbringer, which is cool. Not a whole lot in this graveyard that can get back, cards that can do a whole lot of damage right away. Yeah, so let's see what they decide to get back. They're thinking about it too. They might have wanted to go for, looks like they've decided they're going to get back the Bastion Protector, so they can give their commander indestructible and +2/+2. Certainly not nothing. But them having that out in the battlefield means that they can block the Balefire Dragon, no problem. Alright, so do they decide to attack with the 3/3? They probably won't, because it's just going to get blocked by the 6/6. Don DeMello being down to 9 life, 1 card in hand, and not a whole lot of a board state, means that they're probably going to be dead here. Maybe not immediately, but pretty soon, I think. So let's see, they're going to attack for 3 over at Zen Mind. They're definitely more afraid of this deck than us, which is good for us. That means that we're probably not going to be super high on everybody's radar, which is exactly where you want to be in a game of Commander. Alright, so what's going to happen from here? Don DeMello, it's going to go to their turn. They could have the combo. Now, thankfully, Zen Mind does have a bunch of mana, and on top of that, they have 5 cards in hand, so they might have the answer that we're looking for if they've got an answer to the World Gorger combo. And they might not even have that in this deck. Let's see what they get down. They get down the Cauldron of Eternity. I don't usually see this card. I personally don't think it's that great, because it's a card that you want to play in a Reanimator deck, but you also don't want to play it in a Reanimator deck because it exiles those creatures. And kind of the whole purpose of why Reanimator is so good is because you can reanimate the same creatures over and over and over. So this is definitely kind of a weird effect, where yes, you can use it to get back cards, but I don't know. It just seems so strange to me. Whenever a creature you control dies, put it on the bottom of its owner's library. It doesn't exile them, rather. It just puts them, out of the graveyard. So you really can't get cards out of the graveyard anymore, unless you're just discarding them. All right, so they're going to go and get back the Inferno Titan. They can use this to get rid of the Bastion Protector. Now their commander is destructible again. They can destroy it. So when they attack with the Balefire Dragon, they've got a chump block if they want to keep their commander around. Technically, they can block with their commander. It's a 5/7. This is a 6/6, so they can certainly block there and prevent their commander from dying that way. Let's see if they go for that. Looks like Don DeMello at 7 life. They're just going to keep up their blockers and try not to die here. Okay, that's fine for us. The Codex Shredder is going to go ahead and mill themselves one more time. Let's see what happens from there. I'm surprised they didn't mill themselves with the ability from the Altar of Dementia. Maybe they did and I just didn't realize it. Alright, so we're going to go to our turn here. Let's see what we draw into. Hopefully a land. We draw into a land. We draw into a... interesting. So we have here recursion. Do we have anything from the graveyard that we'd like to recur? Technically, we can recur a land. So we recur a land. We have 4 mana afterwards. From 4 mana, we can... This is a tough one. I'd hate to use this on a land, but I think we have to go for that. We're just going to be too far behind if we don't do that here. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. We're going to go ahead and we can entwine it, but that doesn't matter that much because our commander doesn't really cost anything yet. Although I guess, yeah, it doesn't matter. We'll just return a permanent card from our graveyard to the hand. We're going to choose to get back a land here. We're going to get back the Rogue's Passage because we got enough of green and white. We'll get back the Rogue's Passage. We're going to pay 2 green for that, so green there and a green there. We'll get back the land. From that point, we'll have 4 mana. All the cards in our hand are 3 mana, and our commander is a 3 mana card as well. So I think what we'll do is we'll play out a Enchantress's Presence. That should be pretty good. So we'll play it on the land. We'll play out the Enchantress's Presence, and then we'll hold up 1 mana to be able to be used in other ways. Oops, I gotta undo that. I gotta tap this for green mana specifically. Alright, so we've got the card that we can use to draw cards off of our auras. And on top of that, we can also cast those auras at instant speed. So I think we're pretty good from here. We're going to go and yield until our next upkeep, and we'll see what our opponents decide to do. Now, we are technically representing a board, a slot removal spell with our 1 white mana, but you know we haven't been doing anything with that white mana this whole game, so I don't think people are going to be anticipating that from us. So let's see. They're going to go ahead and play down their commander with Flash. So this is a way that they can attack over at Don DeMello, but they've got to figure out a way to make this commander unblockable. Now, we do have the Rogue's Passage out on the battlefield, but we wouldn't have had enough mana to give it an unblockability anyways. So they've got to figure out a way to do it themselves. Let's see what they find. They could give it pro-red. That would certainly work. So Mother of Runes would allow them to kill Don DeMello, or at least put them down to 1 life. They're going to go for the Rishkar's Expertise, so allowing them to draw cards and maybe find a way to give their commander unblockability. So let's see if they find something that allows them to do that. Otherwise, they're probably going to be attacking. Since it's got Vigilance, they're probably just going to attack us. And, you know, it's not going to be helpful or hurtful for them at this point. So that's probably what they're going to be doing. I think on our next turn, we're probably going to be going for the commander and then holding up our combo, thanks to the Sigarda's aid. I kind of like that idea. That does sound pretty good to me. If someone has a way to destroy our commander, we do have a way to respond with the with this card as well, with the Shield of the Oversoul. So if someone wants to deal damage to our commander, obviously using this one is not great because when we start making the tokens, when we start moving them over, our commander will die. So that's going to be turning off the combo. So in that position, yeah, I definitely want to go for the Shield of the Oversoul instead. Let's see what happens from here. They've got, check this out, they've got the Miri Weatherlight Duelist, so they can make it so that only 1 creature can block it. They've got a Tali down as well. So at this point, a Tali can attack over at Don DeMello, and it will trade, or they can send it at us. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of damage coming our way, which is kind of unfortunate. And Atali should be pretty good. I mean, even then, they could find a way to give all their creatures unblockability. So we'll see if they find something. Let's take a look at what they get. Alright, they're going to go to the attack. Please, not a whole lot of attacks at us, please. That's what we really want to see here. They're going to attack the commander at us. They're going to attack the Miri at us. And then they're going to attack the Atali at us. So they're going to swing everything at us. We're not appearing to be that threatening, but it doesn't look like that matters here. We're still going to take a lot of damage. So that's going to be 6 plus 6, that's 12. Plus another 3, so that's 15. We're going down to 7 here. Plus Atali will get to cast things from everybody's deck. Let's see what they get to cast here. Yep, this is pretty bad for us. We're getting pretty low. Yeah, going from nothing over to this big board state, we really don't have a way to survive too long. Let's see here. I guess that will do. They say meh. They didn't like our board wipe for some reason. They're going to be able to use Not Forgotten. So what are they going to target with Not Forgotten? So Not Forgotten. They've got also a Chromox. So Not Forgotten will get back the Rishkar's Expertise for them to get some more mana. They're going to go ahead and put the Chromox onto the battlefield. They get to exile a card from their hand. This allows them to produce more mana, but I don't know how much that's really necessary here. They can use this to untap one of their creatures if they'd like. They get to create a 1/1 Spirit thanks to the Not Forgotten as well. This is a great card. I used to really love this card. It was a way for any white deck to be able to have recursion basically at the level of regrowth. It doesn't put it into your hand. It puts it on top of your deck, but you get a token as well, so that's kind of cool also. But over time, I just noticed that putting it on top of the deck is certainly not that great. So they're going to hit us for a lot, putting us down to 7. We can't block. We got nothing that we can do. So, yep, we're going down to 7. Certainly very, very low. Now, what we can do on our following turns, we can play down our commander and then hold up this ability. If they attack us with a lot of creatures, we can make a lot of tokens and chump block that way. So that is one benefit here. But at the same time, I don't like being down to 7 life. That certainly feels very bad. We're at the same level as a Anje Falkenrath deck. Never a whole lot of fun, especially with one commander over at 42 life. That's obviously pretty good. So let's see what happens from here. So we're still not responding to anything. We have no instance in the hand. They're gonna go ahead and get down their Chroma. This has haste, I believe. Yeah, it does have First Strike, Flying, Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. So they can attack with this right away. Let's see if they go for that. It has pro black and pro red. They can attack with that, and that will put Don DeMello down to 1. So they can attack both of these cards over at Zen Mind. They can send this over at Don DeMello. So Don DeMello goes down to 1 life here. So they no longer have the Cauldron of Eternity as an option for them. But 1 life is definitely not 0 life. That's a huge difference here. So let's see what happens from this point on. They're going to attack, and let's see how... They're going to decide to attack a little bit differently here. I guess they realize they can take out... they're going to attack us for 3, so they're going to put us down to 4. They're going to attack Zen Mind for 5. Yeah, so us being down to 4, that's pretty bad for us as well. And unfortunately, with all these flying creatures, we don't have a way to get around flying creatures. Our tokens do not have flying themselves. So instead, what are we going to have to go for? I don't even know. I don't even know if there's a way for us to win from here. I guess if we had Pariah in the deck, we could use Shield of the Oversold and Pariah, and that would certainly allow us to win. But as it stands, I don't see us having a way to win from here. Yeah, we could give Indestructible to this creature and then put Pariah on it as well, and that would allow us to survive. But besides that, I don't see a way for us to get out of this game. Yep, man, this is definitely pretty tough. Also here, Don DeMello can just take us out of the game immediately. So we were kind of hoping that us not doing a whole lot makes us less likely to get blown up. But ultimately, it did not work out that way. So, oh well. We tried our best here. It was kind of a tough game, kind of a weird game. But we tried our best, and it didn't work out in the end. So they're down to 1 life. How do they win the game? That's a big question for them. I think that's something they'll have to consider. I think it's probably going to start off with them digging for an answer. Looks like that's what they started off with, trying to find a board wipe of some sort. And then they've got, obviously, their creatures can attack. They can block with them. They can do all sorts of stuff with that. They can attack with the Balefire Dragon. Looks like they're going to go for the Chaos Warp, targeting the Bruna. So that means that they can get rid of 1 creature off the battlefield. Okay, so that's not too bad. They can use the Balefire Dragon, basically get rid of this board state from Zen Mind, which is good news for us. Unfortunately, when they attack with the Inferno Titan, they can deal 3 damage to us and putting us down to 1 life as well. So what do we do here? They're going to attack with both of these creatures. They're going to attack one of them over at at Raphael and one of them over at Zen Mind. So with the ability from Inferno Titan, they get rid of that creature. What was that creature that they got rid of? I saw them getting rid of something. They got rid of, let's see here. They got rid of the card that melds. So out of all the cards to Chaos Warp into, they Chaos Warped into Gisela. So now when they cast their commander, they can immediately meld it, which is pretty cool. They're going to go ahead and Cauldron of Eternity is going to trigger off of that creature dying. The Spirit gets to block this 6/6. So 2 blockers here, going to take things out of the game for Don DeMello. I don't think Don DeMello is going to find a way to survive here. Even if we draw into a mana that we can cast this board wipe from the graveyard, we're still dead ourselves. So what can we find? Well, we draw into a land, so that would be enough for us to play out the Divine Reckoning. However, I think it's going to be more important for us to go for a way to survive. Now, there's flying creatures out there. We've got to try to find a board wipe. Now, the best board wipe we can find is a 3-drop board wipe. So, what I think I want to do is I think I want to start using some of these enchantments simply as cantrips to try to find that board wipe. Yeah, let's go ahead and go for that. Let's go ahead and Shield of the Oversoul. We'll go ahead and put it here on the Samut, because if they destroy us, then that gets rid of the indestructible on their commander. So that's pretty nice. This also allows them to have flying, where they can block some of these big flying creatures. This is kind of a political move. Again, we're just trying to find a board wipe that can get rid of everything. Although I guess if we do that, the board wipe doesn't work anymore. So maybe we actually want to target something else. Atali sounds pretty good too. Yeah, let's just hit the Atali. It doesn't do anything here, but we'll go ahead and yeah, no, this is fine. This is fine. We're gonna try to dig to a board wipe. Trying to dig to a board wipe. We will get to draw 1 card off of this. We'll always yield to this ability. This is basically the first time we're getting any ability off of the Enchantress's Presence. So yeah, this looks pretty bad for us. We draw into a land, so now our only option to survive is to hopefully use the Generous Gift to be able to get rid of 1 creature that could attack us in a way that we can survive. So let's see if we can manage to do this pretty well. Let's see what we can find. What is it that we can find here? We've got the Generous Gift. Again, we can also target one of our own things if we want to block, but it doesn't matter. With those flying creatures being able to attack us, we're pretty much out of the game. We're at 4 life, so yeah. I mean, anything that's attacking us for 4 is going to kill our elephants, so we really can't use it very helpfully. Let's see what happens from here. We've got enough mana that we can respond to something with the Generous Gift, and you know, from there, hopefully win. I mean, it's tough, but there is a world where we do still win from there. Alright, so let's see what Rishkar's Expertise finds them this time. This time they're drawing 6 cards, so they're going up from 3 cards up to 9. So from those 9 cards, what did they decide to cast? That's the big question here. They can cast any one of those 9 cards, and then on top of that, they can attack with the Atali, get a bunch of other cards cast for free, and then eventually the Itlamok Cradle of the Sun will be helpful for them as well. Now, the Acidic Slime can come down and destroy all sorts of stuff. We don't actually care about this too much. No matter what they target from us, we're okay. The only thing I can see them wanting to target is this Altar of Dementia or something. That seems like an important card for them to get rid of. They're going to target the Jalum Tome, surprisingly. It's not very often you see that. They're going to go ahead and get rid of the Jalum Tome. That's not something you say a lot in Commander. Probably the first time I've ever said it in Commander, for sure. Let's see what's happening here from Zen Mind. So they've got 14 life. They can do a couple of attacks. They can attack at us, and we can technically prevent 1 creature from attacking us and dealing damage to us with the Generous Gift. Let's see if that's going to be enough to allow us to win. I don't think so. I really don't think so. But depends on what they find. They could find all sorts of good stuff for us. They're going to get back the Selvala. Okay, so that can produce a lot more mana. They've got 7 cards in hand. Okay, alright, so this is doing a lot for them. But we'll see if this will allow them to just continue to go off and do more stuff. So, yeah, things are looking pretty slim for us. Pretty grim as well. Slim chances, grim life. That's the way I feel it. Now, they're at 14. So if anybody's threatening to win here, it is Raphael France. They are playing mono white, so a lot of people might underestimate them as a result. They've got a way that they can attack here with the Drakuseth and deal 4 damage to us, 3 damage to the Don DeMello, and then 3 damage directly to Raphael. So we've got to get rid of this here before they can even attack, and that does mean that we get to that we do die here. One other thing that we can do is we can get rid of Samut, and with Samut, then we can prevent this from attacking because it no longer has haste. That's pretty nice. That's pretty cool. I kind of like that idea. Let's see if this works out for us. So Selvala will try to trigger. Let's see if they actually manage to trigger this, because this is a 7/7. I think that is bigger than everything else on the board, so they will get to draw a card here, going up to 7 cards in the hand. They're down to 2 mana, or rather, yeah, 2 mana. So with that full grip, they can't play anything else here. So now we're in beginning of combat. If we don't destroy either Drakuseth or their commander right now, we are dead, for sure. So we have to do this now. So we are going to destroy the Samut here. So with the Samut, we can get rid of that. Now, they can go for the untap of the Selvala in response and then flash out their commander potentially. So instead, what I'd like to do here is I'm going to get rid of the Drakuseth instead. This does, prevent a couple of other creatures from attacking us by, if we were to choose their commander. But I think here, our only option really to prevent ourselves from just dying from the Drakuseth is to go for this elephant creation. Now, they can attack us with the elephant, and if they decide to do that, we will die. But at the same time, we really have to go for it this way. We cannot allow them to attack, because they could just use the Drakuseth ability to kill us, and that kind of changes things for us. Alright, so the elephant here will trigger. That's pretty much it for us. I mean, we're probably dead right now. I don't see why they would allow us to survive. And then it becomes a game of who's going to win, Zen Mind or Raphael France. Now, Raphael France certainly has a lot more life total for them to go through, but at the same time, they are playing mono white and don't have as many creatures out on the board. Now, they can meld their commander next turn, so that could be part of what happens here. So let's see what happens from this point. So they've got 1 creature hitting us, and they actually got 3 creatures hitting us, which is surprising. I guess they were probably afraid of us having some way to survive. The elephant's not enough to kill us, so yeah, that's fine. They won't attack us with all those. We have nothing in the hand, so we are definitely dead. We will definitely say a good game here to our opponents. Good game. Got to spell things correctly. Good game, and well played. By the way, if you want to see this game on YouTube, you can find me at youtube.com/magicalhackermtg. All right, so we'll go ahead and send that to our opponents. We're seeing a lot of things here happening. They've got the Scroll of Avacyn and the Doom Whisperer, both coming down from their Free Atali castings. They've got the Heliod's Pilgrim, which will allow them to search. Yeah, so things are not looking super great for Zen Mind. Also not looking great for Raphael France. Things are looking pretty bad for all the players involved. So let's see here. Does Don DeMello take any damage themselves? It doesn't look like they have anything that can deal that damage directly. So let's see what happens from here. I'm surprised because they still have the possibility to just go off with that combo and win. So if I were them, I'd definitely be trying to hit something over at them as well. Like Miri hitting them would be pretty reasonable. So let's see what happens here. This Atali attacking over at the Don DeMello makes a whole lot of sense. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to attack when there's this 6/6 first strike on the battlefield. So that definitely feels like a bad idea. Alright, so it looks like 2 of us are going to be out of the game here. And then Raphael Prince will be taking some damage as well. We have no blockers, so we're going to say okay here. Alright. Yep, we'll go ahead and take the damage, and then we'll see how this shapes up for our last 2 opponents. Yep, alright. So yeah, kind of an interesting game. Oh, we're down to only 1? We're going to see the double strike kill us. I think so, right? Yeah, double strike should kill us here. Because I believe we were attacked by the commander, if I remember correctly. Oh, no, they weren't attacking us. But they attacked us with enough where we died, and also Don DeMello died as well. So now going on to Raphael France, they've got higher than a starting life total, and they can cast out their commander and meld it right away. It all matters if they want to go for that right now, or if they have a board wipe they'd like to play first. I mean, at the same time, even with a board wipe, Zen Mind is still at 7 cards in the hand, so Zen Mind, I think, is favored here. As weird as it sounds, I think they're favored. They've got a lot of stuff on the board. They can attack every turn and just do a lot of craziness. Now, obviously, this Acidic Slime kind of seems silly to attack with, but the Death Touch means that most of the time it's not going to get blocked, and it doesn't have reach or flying, so they can't block the flyers anyway. So might as well just attack with that. Now, right now, the Raphael France can only attack with 1 creature each combat. So they cannot attack with multiple creatures. So let's see what they decide to do. They can attack them for 6. Certainly attacking them down to 6, down to 8 would be a significant amount. But let's see if they've got something else they'd like to do. They're tapping for 5 mana. They're going to go ahead and return a card from their graveyard to the battlefield. What do they target? I'm kind of curious here. What do they target there? They targeted a Elspeth Conquers Death. Okay, so this is something they can use to exile a creature. What are they going to exile? That's a big question for them. They're going to exile the Sun's Titan. Okay, I'm not sure what they had in the graveyard that was going to be that threatening to get back out. Yeah, I mean, even Mind Sensor might be an issue. I don't know what they were thinking there. But they got rid of that, and then they're just going to be able to attack with 1 creature and then pass the turn. It's got Vigilance, so they can attack with it and block with it, which is both of those are pretty cool. So they're going to go down to 8. Let's see what they've got here. They can use this Scroll of Avacyn to gain 5 life if they get control of an angel at some point. But with that Atalia on the battlefield, I think that's going to be pretty soon that they'll get that. They will get to draw a card off of sacrificing it as well, so you know that's an option as well. Zen Mind says, interesting. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and go for that card draw right now. They're not interested in the life gain at all. They're going to go ahead and draw a card. They're up to 9 cards in the hand now with their draw step as well. So how much damage can they attack for? They can attack with all these creatures. They can block 2 of them. The biggest creatures that they could block here are Atali and the commanders. So they would take, let's see here, 5, 7. This is not going to be the damage here. They could be going for that Formidable. Yeah, it looks like they're going for Formidable here. So that's going to put Raphael's life total down to 2. And they're going to go up to 7. So yeah, now if they attack with everything, that will definitely kill them. Alright, so yeah, what a game. What a game. Yeah, Siona, you can definitely see how powerful she can be. We just really got unlucky with not drawing the lands, and on top of that, kind of having to, be forced to hold up interaction for the Anje deck. So, maybe not the best showing for Siona, but I feel like it was a lot of fun. I really like aura-based decks. Those are always a lot of fun to me. And, yeah, so I like this deck. This is a definitely cool deck. So, kind of going from a deck doctor into a deck gameplay, I think it's pretty interesting. And again, if you are a patron of mine at patreon.com/magicalhacker, you submit a deck for a deck doctor, and I just can't find anything that I want to change. I will definitely either give you a gameplay or switch to a deck tech video. So depending on which one is easier for me to do at the time, I'll go for that. It seemed like Casey Spark, who built this deck, was a little bit more interested in the deck gameplay just by the interactions that I had with them. So yeah, I think this is going to be pretty good for them to enjoy. So thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Gavony Township. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did as well, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Stay awesome.